recording now. And so if you do not wish to be on the recording, do not speak. If you do not wish your face to be on the recording, do not turn on your video. It is being recorded, but we recognize that some people have a need for privacy. So you are responsible for taking care of that, and I appreciate that. So to find the meeting recording, if you go to our website, one of the resources at the top is meetings, and then within that, we'll post this. The meeting is there from last time, and you'll see it becomes quite a resource. We posted up on YouTube. We have the video linked inside of our site, along with the full transcript and the chat. So, you know, you've got everything here. And the chat, I promise you, will be full of links. So some people are already putting them in, and Nye has the job of, whenever she hears a certain keyword, she's going to post up relevant links for that. So we've got really good resources there. Also note at that same place, when you look at committee minutes, if you are a professional member, you have access to the minutes of all of the meetings of the committees, finance committee, membership committee, all that. And so there's lots and lots of resources there. And as you are involved in this, if you have questions, if you want further access, or you want to be on a committee, get in touch with those committee chairs. If you haven't done so already, I encourage you to browse around the website. You can find other members there. You can connect to people. We've already had people say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me with a job in another state. And so, that they've used our site for that already. And so use that resource. If you want other things, or you think something should be different, send us a note. All right, with that, Amy or Heather, I'm not sure who is the designated speaker. This all depends on Amy's health.
So today, and Amy just put it in the chat to verify that I will be doing our update from the board today, as she is feeling under the weather. So, when I thought about what to say to the membership, I thought about birthing an organization. Like, wow, I've never been involved in such a thing, but I've birthed 2 children. So, would there be relevant experience there? No, because I didn't have to figure out what their fingers and toes looked like and how they moved. I have had lots of experience in fully formed organizations, but, and many of you probably have as well, but did you really think about who came up with the policies? Who came up with what the committees did, or their code of ethics, or their mission and vision? I guess I just took it all for granted. But being involved with the birth of the NSITSP has been such an amazing experience to be a part of. And really, it took so many amazing volunteers. It's those things that you take for granted in an organization that takes the most work to figure out, like how to make a fair election, how to form a budget based on just plans and dreams. And then how do we pay for all that once we have that budget? How do we pay for that? Every detail has to be examined from all sides, because every decision you make has ramifications that are attached to it on what the organization looks like in the future. And so they're really important decisions, and they need lots of different viewpoints to give different perspectives on the ramifications of those decisions. It's been countless hours from all the committees and the board. We've been meeting weekly and really digging into sometimes just a sentence, just really looking at just how the essence of how we want that to form. But it's really important, because all of those decisions reflect what we want the NSITSP to be. We've been so fortunate to have all of these perspectives and eyes on these decisions. Each and every member I've worked with brings a different viewpoint and questions for us to consider. And now the organization is really taking shape Business membership levels are being introduced. Committee charters have been developed for all of our committees. We have a draft budget and a member code of ethics that is being really close to being actionable. We are no longer in our birthing phase. The framework is ready for us to take action, and we really want to celebrate that because that's a huge accomplishment. One of the most important points I like to get across when I talk about the NSITSP is that this is not an organization that is going to just do something for you. The NSITSP was formed for all of us to get together and make something happen. We need everyone to lend their skills and hands to achieve these goals. If you haven't joined yet, join now. Don't wait to see what happens or say that you're going to just watch and for a little while before you see if it's worth your time. We need you to achieve these goals. Don't sit back. If you haven't joined a committee yet, join. Listen to what our committees are working on, and that will be coming up later in the meeting. Karl will be telling you other ways you can get involved and volunteer in some legislation actions, and find something that resonates with you and get involved. You may say to yourself, I've never done anything like this before. She's probably talking to the next person in the next square. No, that is not the case. You don't need experience in committees or nonprofits directly. You already have the experience and skills by building your businesses, by working with people, by achieving goals as a team. You're all doing that every day. You will make a difference here, and we need that. We have done so much so far. And thank you to all who've been a part of this birthing phase. And let's get ready for this next thing and see what we can accomplish together. So if you haven't joined now, go do that. Follow us on all our social media, share posts, do everything you can because we can do this. And that's all I have.
I got to unmute. Thank you very much. You took up about half of the announcements I was going to make, but that's okay. Repetition never hurts. So Heather is our vice president. Amy's our president. We have a truly great board of directors. And so please go check out those bios and so forth on the site. Again, recommend that you visit our website. Rob sent me an email that he's a professional member, paid and so forth, but can't access stuff. If that's the situation for you, send us a note. Jen's job is to make sure that people go through the entire process and get everything done so that everybody has the access they need. So if you have paid and you don't have access, please send us a note about that. So one of the big things that we've decided is that we're going to standardize when the meetings are. So the next all member meeting is going to be in August 10th, and future all member meetings are going to be on the second Wednesday of the quarter. So you'll know when we're doing these. So please mark your calendars, and we will we'll give you notes and schedule them in advance and so forth. But there's that. Also, the social media links. If you are not joining us on social media, you should. Please, everybody. I think Nai's going to put the link in the chat, but go to YouTube right now and subscribe to our channel, because when we get 100 people, we can have a custom name. So we want a custom URL for our YouTube channel, and it requires members to be able to do that. So one of the things about the regular meeting, especially the August meeting, is that we're going to be having some important stuff going on this fall, and the August meeting will be like super full of details about the elections and so forth. So do not miss that meeting. These are the values for our organization that we have put together. Again, all of these are in the About section on the website, and I encourage you to go look through them. And oops, I'm not sure where the rest of my slide deck went. All right, maybe I shared the wrong one. All right, so anyway, let me go through the announcements as we go along. The first thing is that The Code of Ethics Committee is currently meeting, and we've got, I can't even remember how many members now, but it's over 10 members, and they're meeting twice a month and working on figuring out a code of ethics, which sounds simple, except that we're super dedicated to the fact that the code of ethics needs to be something that actually represents the values that we've put down for our organization. And as a result, that code of ethics needs to be something that is truly clear and concise, but also needs to be something that all of you could theoretically post on your websites. And so make sure that that gets done. So anyway, that's working. And I know that that's hard for people to see, like there's no real report per se, but it is happening and we need you to know that. Second big announcement is that the Formation Committee, which has now become the Governance Committee, or is becoming the Governance Committee, has decided on elections. And so we're going to be announcing some details as we move along with that. The elections will be held in September. And so we will put up an area on the site where if you are interested in running for an office, you'll be able to declare your candidacy, put together a candidate statement, give us your information and so forth. And so all of that is in the works. And all of that starts in the next few months. So keep your eyes open, make sure that you read our newsletter. If you are a member and for whatever reason don't get the newsletter, you may have removed yourself or something, but anyway, get in touch with us and we will help you figure out how to get that newsletter. And so all the details on the election are coming, but I would tell you this, we need you to serve. I'm looking around at all the little pictures here and I'm saying, oh, I want her to serve. I want him to serve. I want him on a committee. I want her on a committee. We need people to serve on these committees. We have some really great committee chairs and committee members right now. And so I'm hoping they will all stand for election. You can run for one office. So we need some people to run for the board. We need some people to run for each of the committees. Now, the committees will choose their own chairs. So the election will be to be on a committee. And then once on the committees will choose their own chairs. So that's how it works. We are in general right now, I think all of the committees are 7 members, and the goal will be that we will have some of them, I think I'll have to look at the details, but either the first 4, I believe, will serve for a 2-year term, and the next 3 will serve for a 1-year term. After that, everyone serves for a 2-year term. I know that's a little complicated, but all the details will be on the website. And the other really big announcement is that we now have a vendor program, a vendor partner program. And so it is time to begin talking to vendors about contributing to our organization at a larger level. And of course, we want vendors to be members. I do have to say, so just a shout out to Heather, has been an incredibly valuable member of the board. And, as both a vendor and just a great person, she has helped us tremendously. And if she is any indication of what we can expect from vendors, we need all of them. So vendors, when they are members, get 1 vote, the same as everybody else. But we need them to participate. Our entire ecosystem as a community exists in part because we're here and in part because the vendors are here. And so we really need them to participate. So if you have a contact for a vendor that you want to get in touch with, talk to me. If you would rather just give an introduction and have me call them, I will be happy to do so. But we need to begin that process as quickly as possible. So there's some chat that we can get to, and we'll get to an open Q&A, I promise. But I just wanted to make sure that you all know that that's coming and that that vendor program is, we've sort of agreed to the outline and begun discussion with vendors. So if you have people that you want us to get in touch with, please let me know. With that, Heather, do you want to introduce the various chairs, and we will have the quick reports for various chairs?
Absolutely, I would love to. And I also just wanted to add before we get into that, the board did do our mission, vision, and value, and it's in a stage where we're looking for feedback. This isn't something that is permanent, and we might revise that. So we are looking to you to spend some time, think about if you feel like we're on the right track, and give us your feedback as we continue along. So we have these amazing committees, and I am fortunate enough to be able to be the committee liaison. So I do get to go to a lot of these meetings, and I'm just shocked at how much these committees get done. So I'm going to introduce the chair of the legislative committee, Dennis Wilson, first. He's from DWP Information Architects.
And he's muted.
Dennis, I think you might be on mute.
I'm sorry, I thought we were going to go through the whole list first and come back. Okay, so let's do this. One of the things I appreciate is that we have now got a fully staffed committee. We have 9 members and a plus Heather as the board liaison. This is now an active committee focused on providing training and marketing communications materials to society members. The legislative committee is tasked with the preparation of the volunteers who would be talking to local senators and assembly people, their job then is key to what our society and its success, because they deserve to have the best tools that we can provide them, and that's basically our job, is to get those tools to them as quickly as possible and the best quality possible. The mission of our society is, as we talked about earlier, is to be the voice of the industry, defining the standards for professionalism in IT services. The issue that we are facing is that local state legislators are waking to the reality and the costs of managed services and cybersecurity and all the things that are involved in it. And they are about to create regulation that defines our industry without any feedback from the industry itself. We need to raise our voices and to be heard, and we will be heard. Part of the way we will make this happen is to mobilize our members in all the states to start knocking on doors and becoming the voice of the industry within the legislatures. We need to be the professionals representing the hundreds of small IT service providers and the thousands of small businesses that we serve. We need to answer the question, who is providing those services? Who is it that's consuming those services? And what should those services look like? The legislative committee believes that the best way to prepare for these discussions is to create short Q&A style YouTube videos that will be, how-to videos, how to deal with each question, so that there'll be a single question per video. Each video will be 3 to 8 minutes in length. And then we expect that there will be a lot of videos on the YouTube channel. We expect to have the first of the videos done within the next couple of weeks, and the rest of them done fairly quickly after that. And so one of the things that we're feeling is the pressure that the legislature's potentially starting to get work done before we're ready. So we're trying to get these done as quickly as possible. In support of our main effort, we will expect to provide some printed marketing materials in cooperation with the marketing committee, and also to blog information about the activities of the various legislatures, so that the folks that will be going to talk to them will know what the heck's going on. The other thing we have achieved is to get a group of experts to staff committees and to meet our goals of diversity of membership. Members are Amy Babachek of Michigan, Trevor Deerdorf of Colorado, Karl Polachuk of Northern California, Brett Erickson of Minnesota, Ted Geisler, I forget Ted, pardon me, I forget Geisler from Illinois, Keith Nelson of Southern California, Jeremy Kurtz of Massachusetts, Jeff Grenier of Ohio, Heather Johnson of Connecticut, and myself from Southern California. Within those 9 voting members and one board liaison, we have a variety of experience with both with certainly local legislatures and politicians and lobbyists and local political party workers. It's just amazing that we have this much expertise, and we're able to grab them and bring them into the committee and make this happen. And more importantly, the committee is professional, and it's committed, and it's talented, and they are just like you. They're small business owners focused on serving small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. The next committee is just got their new name. They were the Formation Committee, and that's an exciting thing because we're no longer in formation. So now they are called the Governance Committee, and that is chaired by Brett Erickson from Passkey Technology.
Thank you, Heather. Hear me okay? All right, thanks for the opportunity to cover some of the goals and the tasks that we've accomplished. We're honored to be a big part of the birthing of the society, like Heather talked about. We have finished up all the new committee recommendations, and all those committees are formed. We did complete that generic committee charter document that Heather mentioned for each committee to fill out. And that's just to standardize and define and separate duties. And lastly, we assisted with the framework for last year's elections, or for next fall's elections. As Karl mentioned and Heather just mentioned, we're now working on a framework for the NSITSP Governance Committee. Once completed, we will be recommending to the board that formation committee, or us, will transition into that new governance committee. So the goal of that committee will be to ensure that the operational framework of the organization is properly engineered for the ongoing, pursuit of its purpose statements, vision, the mission, the value statements. So we, creating and maintaining policies and procedures as needed, and then providing, guidance on those policies and procedures for committees and the board. I'd like to quickly acknowledge as well the committee members and all of their hard work: Diana Giles, David Yates, Jason Thomas, Carmine Corridor, and Doug Golio. Other regular attendees are Larry Mandelberg, Heather Johnson, Karl Polachuk, and Amy Babachek. So I can say we have a very fun and talented group. We have a good time, I think, during meetings and get a lot accomplished. We have a couple of spots we're trying to fill. It's a great way to give back to the community. Very rewarding. So please reach out if you're interested. And that's all I got.
Great, thank you, Brett. The next committee is the Finance Committee, which is chaired by Tracy Harden from Next Century Technologies.
Hello, thank you, Heather. Thank you very much. I am the chairperson for the Finance Committee. This year, our big accomplishment was setting up a budget for this calendar year as well as next calendar year. Of course, that's going to change, but we at least have the underpinnings of it set up. We also played a huge role in setting up the partnership, the vendor partner program, and we will continue to help with that. Other goals of our committee are to manage and allocate funds raised by NSITSP, and we oversee the monthly and annual accounting functions. Like several of the other committees here, we are looking for more volunteers. I don't think this was said earlier, but on the committees, we must have majority a majority of members must be IT providers. So right now we're at kind of an imbalance. We need more IT providers, MSP, non-MSP, whoever. There are a couple requirements. You will have to be a paid member, and you have to follow the requirements to become a paid member. Also, we meet about one time a month. We were weekly for a while, but we're down to one time a month. And we really love to have you join us. In my opinion, we're the best committee. So please join up. You do not have to be a math whiz to join our committee. Quite the opposite. What our requirement is that you care. You care about how we spend our money. If you're worried about this committee and what's going to happen to the funds that are being raised here, please join my committee and let us know how you feel. We have somebody on staff already. Rayanne already handles the books. You don't need to know how to do any financial reports or anything like that. You don't have to be an accounting whiz. You just have to care. Let me give a shout out. Our current members are right now Brian Johnson, Heather's husband, Eric Long, Kenny Iconos, Larry appears occasionally, and Rayanne, of course, Larry Mandelberg appears occasionally to help as needed, and Rayanne is also a member of the committee and is handling the books as well as myself. So we need some more volunteers. I will put some information in the chat so you can reach out to me directly, and I'll help you get started. Thanks. Back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Tracy. Now we're going to move to the marketing committee, which is chaired by Andy Higgins from IMC Collaboration. And I hear he has some really big news to talk to us about, which will be very exciting to hear.
All right, greetings from Texas. I'm true-born Texas, as you can tell. I got Austin FC, man. Okay. What is it about marketing and IT people that they just don't like? I don't know. I got into marketing. I went to see Robin Robbins and I got into marketing big time. I need people who are as fired up about marketing to join my marketing committee, because there's only 3 of us right now and we have a lot of work to do. We have defined all our communication targets and all the communication outlets, of which you can imagine must be many, all the social media outlets. We need people to cover all these, to take responsibility for pushing information out on the different outlets and discovering new ones as they appear. And yeah, that's join us. We need you. We have Marnie and Tim so far, and myself. And we're totally overwhelmed with the amount of work we need to do. So we need people who are interested in marketing. Again, you don't need to be a marketer. You just need to know how to use Facebook, I guess. The exciting news that we have, which I'll roll right into, is that we are going to have a logo contest. We're going to decide, well, we aren't. You guys are going to submit logos, and then we're going to decide which one looks best. If you go to the NSITSP website, you can see and you can enter the logo competition yourself. We were tempted to give away a set of steak knives as the main prize, and we still may do that. But right now it's just cash. And please feel free to go there and get your ideas out there for a new logo. Not that there's anything wrong with our current logo, but we want something nice and fresh from our people out there, our members. And I think that's about it. That's all I've got to mention. So thank you for listening to me, and join the marketing committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And then we are moving on to our last committee, save the best for last, I don't know. And that is chaired for, no, all of our committees are equally fabulous, seriously. I know. But this is the membership committee, and it is chaired by Tim Golden, who is from Vital Tech Services and ComplianceRisk.io.
Good afternoon, everybody. And wow, save the best for last. Thanks for the plug, but I don't think I'm the best. Karl and you all are. And so we've had a lot of great information put out here today about membership, about what all the committees are doing. There's been a lot of really great work happening here. I can just personally speak for my team here. They've really worked hard on figuring out what the member structure will look like going forward. Pretty easy. Think about parent-child relationship, right? So professional member, one representative from your company or your business, and then an associate member, your staff, whether it's a vendor or an MSP IT service provider, parent-child relationship, one voting right per member, professional member, and then your associate members within your organization. Pretty easy to figure out. We've talked a lot about member benefits. I'll go ahead and drop the link in chat so that you can see some of the member benefits. But as you know, and as it's been said, getting us ahead of the legislation is one of the key factors that we're trying to accomplish here. And we need to hear from you and your help, and us all working together as a member organization will be invaluable to trying to get ahead of this. As far as membership requirements, small $100 fee dues, and we are asking for 2 professional letters of reference. There's an article on the website that I'll post about why we ask for the professional letters of reference. In fact, I'll even drop that in chat for you so you have that. But it's basically for us to be able to make sure you are who you say you are and your clients are who they say they are. So after that, lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about, we're asking those that have been part of this to kind of leave us a little bit of a video testimonial. You know, we're trying to obviously raise awareness and grow out what we're building here in our membership base. And so I'm going to put a little link in chat for you. We'd love to have you, leave a 1 to 2 minute video about why you think this is important, how this can benefit you and us as IT service providers. That link's in chat as well. And then lastly, I think I got 5 to 7 minutes, but I'm going to wrap it all up in less than 2. For those of you that do use Slack, we have a Slack channel dedicated to National Society IT service providers. That link is in chat as well. If there are any specific membership related questions, you can email me, tim@compliancerisk.io. And I guess I forgot to ask for volunteers too, like all the other committees. We are specifically looking for a large MSP, 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 staff to represent us larger MSPs to help volunteer with the membership committee. And we're looking for a few vendors as well to help with the membership, to be the vendor voice as part of the membership committee. And I think that's all I've got for you, Heather.
Great. Thank you, Tim. And as you can hear, those committees are doing amazing work. You don't have to be an expert in that. You don't have to have legislative experience or direct marketing experience, just a passion to help out. We need everybody. So, figure out a place that seems to resonate with you and reach out to the committees and get involved. So that's all I have. So back to Karl.
Very good. I do like the whole competition of one committee over the other. I think at the next call, we'll have competing t-shirts or something. So I did want to point out a couple of things. Heather just mentioned, she's always stealing my my fire here, but you do not have to be a finance pro or an accountant to be on the finance committee. You just have to have an interest that we spend our money appropriately. Same thing with marketing. You don't have to be a marketing expert. You have to, basically that committee's job is to come up with ideas, and then we'll find people who can make the artwork, create the handouts, whatever we need to do. so forth and so on. We need you to be interested in your profession, and that gives you what you need to serve on all of these committees. So pick the one that you love the most. I do want to share the website for just a minute and show you a few things. First of all, if you haven't been to our website, go there right now, nsitsp.org. You notice next to the My Account, once you're logged in, you can click on members and find other members. But also, Kara came up with this really great idea. Click on invite new members, and there's actually a form you can fill out with people's name and email address, and it will send them an invitation so they can join. So please do that. And check it out, invite people that you think might be welcome. And then we also have under Get Involved, the volunteer opportunities and so forth, but the logo contest is up. Now, here's the deal. We might keep our current logo, but there's been some discussion, hey, do we need a more professional logo? So what we're gonna do is the committee, the marketing committee is going to choose the top 3 logos that are submitted, and then we'll have people vote. The first vote is, should we keep our current logo? And then if that fails, then one of the other 3 will be selected. All of these things, if you haven't seen Bodie McBoatface, go Google that, and you'll know why all decisions have to be approved by the board. So we don't, we love your input, but sometimes these things get carried away. So anyway, also check out the committee minutes. The committees are super, super active, and we want to make sure that you are as involved as you would like to be. And I know many people have, emailed me and volunteered sort of generically, but then when there's a specific committee, they don't respond. So, I know people want to volunteer. And if you have some idea of what you specifically want to do, just send me an email. We also have a new legislative and regulation page that's under the About section. These things are going to move around a bit as we keep reorganizing the website in preparation for the elections, but continue to check this out. There is a blog that's very low volume, so subscribe to the blog and make sure that you are continuing to stay informed on what we're doing and what we're up to. Just so you know, we have right now, we have 171 professional members, and we have about 478 registered members on the site. Now, we have over 1,000 people on the constant contact list. So that means that at least 500 of you need to make the next step and actually join as a member. So we really need the numbers. And I know some people are saying, well, I'm waiting to see if it's viable or whatever. Look, this is not going away. One way or another, this organization has to be successful. We have to become more professional. This industry, literally our survival as an industry depends on us. And we are at a critical moment in history. And I know that sounds dramatic, but I'm just telling you, between ransomware and the Russians attacking your clients and the government putting in regulations left and right, often without knowledge, often without a true education of what we do or the challenges we face. The media doesn't understand who we are or what we do. I had a lengthy conversation with a former client last week, and I could not explain to her what we do for a living. She was a client of mine for 20 years, absolutely loves our company, never questioned a bill, never questioned anything we asked her to do, but can't speak in one paragraph. She can't describe what this industry is about. So if you think your clients understand what you do, you are wrong. They don't understand your business any more than you understand the inner workings of a complicated client that you have. You think you know what they do, but you just know the surface level. And so we need to educate the public. We need to educate the media. We need to educate legislators. And also, our vision that we started out with, we need this industry to make itself more professional, to hold each other accountable to higher standards. And that's why the continuing work of the committees, the code of ethics that we're working on. These are important things. And the draft of the mission, vision, and values, the statement that's up, we sort of put that out there. The board said, let's give this 6 months. So, Larry sent me a note. If you have feedback on any of that, please get involved. Send an email to me or to Amy or to any of the board, any of the committee chairs, and, talk about it in the forums, so forth and so on. With that, I would like to see if any of the board members or committee chairs have anything else they want to add before we open it to open Q&A.
I do. I got something to add because somebody asked a question, and this was a great question. They wanted to know when the finance committee meets. Just so you know, we're the third Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern. So our next meeting is May 18th. So that's really important. If you're looking for a meeting to join, I'll let everybody else pitch in when their committees are joined. But I just wanted to throw that out there because somebody just asked. And now I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, and we have an events calendar module, and so we can begin to post. It used to be that the committees were all meeting every week, and trust me, I like Heather and I were so busy we couldn't see straight because we tried to attend to everything. But now that things have slowed down a bit, our goal is that committees will eventually meet once or twice a month, and some of them maybe once a quarter. But we'll standardize that schedule so everybody who wants to attend can. Can you show the vendor membership levels? Oh, I don't really have a handout on the vendor membership levels. I was not ready for that. Other questions, comments? All right, I saw at least one. Was it Jason had his hand up? You guys are welcome to open your microphones and just ask the questions if you wish. So Robert says, part of the membership benefits is use our logo. Is the main homepage logo same as the member logo? I mean, yes, basically that's it. If Kara is on, she may be able to tell me if we have another place for people to download the logos specifically. And if not, we will shortly. So, and also obviously, if we have a contest, that logo might change, but I know some people, Tracy in particular, embarrassed me by putting the logo into her email signature before I did. So
I do have a PNG copy of it without the background, but I stole it off the website. So it's not really a good high res original.
All right. Yeah. Well, so what I've done on mine is it's got a PNG background, but I put in a color there, which is just like one dot off of white so that it shows up on because when you go to the night mode, the clear PNG doesn't work well. So other questions, comments? So Stuart asked about Canadian. Yes, so we do have an emerging Canadian sister brother organization, and with luck, we will be helping them launch very, very soon. And so that's something that I would like to make some visibility on the blog post. So make sure that you follow the blog, but that will be coming. So in the chat, Kara says she just finished this page and it's not live yet, but you can link to the social media kit page, which includes graphics. So Stuart asked, so if you're interested in the Canadian version, please send me an email and I'll put it in the chat, but Karl P at NSITSP.org. And I will connect you up with the folks who are now forming the Canadian chapter. And it's not really a chapter, it's a completely separate legal organization, but they're in the formation stages. And to be honest, I am helping them. I will help anybody from any country that wants to get something started. This organization is taking it on and making this go from zero to something is a massive undertaking. So to spread it out and take over the world is not something we are currently capable of doing. So, but we will show you what we did, show you all of our information, the forms that we use, whatever. I'm happy to share everything because it's very, very important. And eventually we will have an international organization, but it will be a coalition of independent organizations. Comments, questions? Boy, this is a very quiet crowd compared to the last several meetings.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Specifically to legislation. So I'm in Ohio. Ohio has a data privacy bill that's being talked about quite a bit. I'm trying to get my head wrapped around it because a lot of it's like legalese stuff that I'm not real familiar with. And how do I go and talk intelligently to my legislator about what the heck's going on? Because some of this is going to affect us as an industry, especially here in Ohio. And it's more of a legislative committee thing. But I'm just wondering if there's going to be a page for like Q&A, or how do we get this ball rolling to actually have an intelligent conversation with the representatives?
Great. And I welcome Dennis and Keith and others from the legislative committee to chime in. But one of the things is it depends on the state, right? I mean, in the US, in Ohio, it might be a little harder to actually sit down with the legislator than it is in Idaho. But you can begin the conversation by literally going and introducing yourself to the staff and saying, who deals with technology stuff and so forth. Find out who the key staff members are, who the key legislators are. Go talk to their staffs. It takes some time and it takes some effort. The legislative committee is interested in putting together, as Dennis mentioned, some videos, some trainings. Keith is talking about some training videos on like literally how do you talk to a legislator. One of the interesting things that's happened in California is that when Dennis went to talk to somebody in the legislature, the first question she had was, can you educate local businesses about the risks of ransomware? And of course, the answer is absolutely, but that might be the best is to become a resource to legislators who all have local businesses as their constituents, and become a resource and know them as individuals. Every one of these legislators in the United States represents a small community that people actually live in. And, in that community, they may or may not be recognized at the grocery store. That's how local politics is in America. They are real human beings. They are friendly. They are approachable under the right circumstances. So you can get involved, but we are going to help build the resources to help people. The other thing I would say is there's levels of involvement. Some people just want to show up for a legislative day and wear a baseball cap and be at the state capitol for a day. Other people want to actually learn about lobbying and so forth. So we are early in the stages of this education, but that is a key piece of what we want to do.
If I can throw my 2 cents in.
Absolutely.
What we're trying to do right now, as Karl intimated, is that we're trying to get these questions put into video format so that one, it's easily consumed and easily found, and they're not ready yet. So what I'm willing to do is, if you have an issue that is coming up currently, get in touch with me. I put my email on the chat, so you can pull that up there. Give me a call or give me an email, and let's talk about what needs to be done for you in your area. The great thing is that we've got one person in Ohio that has experience in dealing with the legislature in that area that might be able to give you a hand.
And you're welcome to join a committee like the legislative committee. And I also recognize that, we have, it's funny, Dennis said hundreds of IT professionals and thousands of clients. It's thousands of IT professionals and millions of clients. We've got a lot of members. And so we don't need each of you to get involved and commit 100 hours a month. 2, 3, 4 hours a month is literally all we can expect to ask from people. And then if we get 500 volunteers, we'll have everything covered. So there's some chat about various things for joining. So if you are not yet a professional member, please put out the effort to do that. It will help us. Other comments, questions? We are scheduled for 60 minutes, but we can go longer if we need to. We did last time. So in fact, some people hung out for like an hour and a half afterwards.
I had somebody else ask me a question. It was a good one. They asked, how long did the finance committee's meetings last? And it's 1 hour for ours. I can't speak for everybody else. We're probably better than everybody else. We would do 1 hour and we try to stick to it. Thanks.
The first, I suspect the first committee to have a t-shirt will be the finance committee. So other folks? Well, I want to know also, one of the comments made in the chat is, what do you want from us? What do you, the members, want from this organization that we haven't yet mentioned? How can we provide you with excellent service today? All right. Well, if there are no other comments or questions, we can put this to rest. But I really would appreciate, if anybody has comments or if you have a question or you're not sure about something, now is your opportunity. You got the entire board here and many, many committee members. Can we set up a committee for tools like backups? I'd be happy to chat with you about that, Ari. Not sure exactly what you mean, what that committee would do, but if it's appropriate to advancing our causes, we can certainly take it to the board. I'm a residential computer service provider. Do I qualify? Yeah, so that's the thing. That's a great question. So Linda says she's a, residential computer service provider. That's exactly what we want. This organization is not called MSP. It's IT service provider. It is everybody. If you do anything with technology, if you install signage or security systems or local, whatever, in-house or video, everyone is welcome. We want to have a very broad definition of what an IT service provider is, because ultimately the home computer, the home systems, we've certainly learned this in the last 2 years, must be as secure as everybody else's system, right? Everybody has to be secure. Everybody has to be backed up. Everybody does work with somebody else, and every business on earth, what is their data? Their data is other businesses' data, other people's data. So, the data that you protect from one of your clients represents their clients. And so ultimately, ransomware is spread by the fact that every computer on earth is some way or another connected. So yeah, we need all IT service providers of every stripe to be involved. And that's part of the beauty of the way that the board has put this together, is that you, serving home clients, have 1 vote. Microsoft has 1 vote, right? Andy has 1 vote. Brett has 1 vote, right? So yes, we want you to join. We want you to participate as fully as you would like to.
I got one real quick, Carl.
Yes, sir.
So I noticed somebody talking about going to IT Nation in the chat. Is it a good time should we mention that we do have business cards and other things to hand out at events if you're attending something?
Absolutely. So impossible to see here, but We do have business cards. They've got a nice little QR code on the back that basically goes to our Join Us page. We had a presence just recently at Channel Pro in Chicago. So if somebody who was there wants to report on that, we'd be happy to have it. And we are going to begin attending as many of these events as we can. So if you would like some of these cards, send me an email. And we have a few thousand of them printed up. And if we need more, we will get more. And if we change our logo, we'll update the cards.
Karl, since you mentioned about IT, the Channel Pro thing in Chicago, I was one of the people that was there. We kind of had a table that one vendor didn't show up that we sort of appropriated and kind of stood around and grabbed people as they were walking by and just said, "Hey, are you an MSP?" and told them what we were doing. And there was a lot of interest in what was going on. Everybody that was from out of state, I passed them up, gave them a bunch of cards to hand around to other people around. So there is a lot of interest in there out there. Don't be scared that people are going to bite you if you mention it. Out of the dozens of people I've talked to between Channel Pro and CompTIA and ASCII, only one person said that they weren't interested in being involved in politics and want nothing to do with it. So don't be afraid, they won't bite you.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved in taxes either, but somehow I get managed to be pulled in every year. So
another great tip on events, when I went to IT Nation in November, there wasn't one time that I sat down for a meal that was a joint meal that this topic didn't come up of legislation. So having cards is a great way to say, if yes, you're clearly concerned about it, since you're, having your meal and talking about it, every single time, at that point, we didn't have the card. So I put, just contact me. And I think we got a good amount of people from that. But that conversation is happening every time people are sitting down to eat. So find some new people to sit with that you don't know. And I can guarantee you it will come up naturally.
Right. So David had a great idea about, we can put up the PDF or JPEG version of this card and folks can have them printed themselves, because it is cheaper than shipping. I have to assure you. When we first got these cards, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just have these printed in near Amy's house and she can go pick them up. Anyway, that's a great idea. So we'll actually figure that out. Thank you.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's Stuart here again. Sorry to barge in, but someone had asked about what the association could do. It could kind of be a bit of a clearinghouse where you could help small businesses with some of the government programs that are now coming available. In Canada, we have what is called the Canadian Digital Adoption Program, which is the federal government's way of kickstarting after COVID. They're granting $15,000 to do a digital adoption to small businesses. So there could be those kind of programs that, members could share. I don't know if there's anything in the US with the Small Business Administration and that kind of stuff. Is that somewhat of the mandate of this organization?
It could be. That's actually, anything where we can have a great resource that, ultimately, I would like to see our site evolve to the point where IT service providers come to the site and find the resources they need to educate themselves, educate their local media, educate their legislators, more and more and more. A lot of what we are really interested in falls under generic education. Ultimately lobbying is education. But yes, I just made a note about that. It's a great suggestion. Thank you, sir.
What I'm going to do is just paste in anyone that's interested from the Canadian side. And I know it's kind of, there's only about 9 members. But having said that, it's kind of the thinking that, you could avail yourself to these programs and help your small businesses meet the challenges after COVID. And then perhaps there's something on the Small Business Administration side in the US. I'm not familiar, but thanks.
Thank you. Let's see.
Hey, Carl,
Yeah.
Jay Farron, long time
Yes.
no. So I'm doing all the Channel Pro events. I'm a speaker at the events, as is obviously somebody else from the board. I'm doing the security stuff. Have you thought about adding some security content to it? Because I hear a lot of MSPs and IT providers going, I got to get up to speed on security. I don't know enough to know what I don't know. I'm more than willing to help with some.
You mean for our
stuff like
site
that.
to be a resource on security? Well, so
Generic.
yeah, here's the problem is that ultimately what we want to do is not to provide information that's going to change all the time, technical information or security specifics. But ultimately, I'd like to be a place where folks would say, how do I find out about security? And then other members can help them find those resources. Ultimately, there's no way that we, without an extra $1 billion, there's no way we could be the place to go on any one topic.
I'm not thinking about it that way. I'm thinking more the generics of here's the basic things you should do. Do you know how to baseline your network? How do you know how to verify that you've got firewalls? If you don't, here's resources to get it. Those kind of things. Not the how do you configure Windows? Forget it. But more the generics of the things, because as licensing becomes more and more of an issue, you can guarantee security is going to become that conversation as well.
Yes. Yeah. So I encourage you to get involved in the committees and help us figure out what's a practical way to do that. Ultimately, a lot of this education, right now, we are hoping that we will someday be asking folks to do continuing education and point to certain organizations and say, well, you can get this from CompTIA, you can get this from ASCII, you can get this from wherever, and help them find places that are the best places to go to get that education. But again, it's such a changing, evolving market that we'd have to figure out what's a practical way to do that. Because ultimately we can't keep up with the changes that, I don't know that would be the best use of our resources.
Okay. I will about the group though at the Channel Pro events, because I'm doing all of them.
Excellent. So, and if you have resources that you want to share with people, you're welcome to post them in the forums and say, hey, get started here or help me build something there.
Okay.
So, other comments, questions? A lot of great links in the chat. So I think, since you can't see the chat since before you got here, but I think if you click in the chat, there's a little 3 dots, click on the more and save the chat. You may be able to save the chat from even before you got here. But either way, just know that the chat with all the links will be posted on our website under committee meeting or under meetings and the recording and so forth. Oh, Amy says CISA came out with new guidance today for MSPs and their customers. Great. Can't wait to see what the latest warning is about MSPs. It's funny, Ted was saying that somebody was saying, no legislation. Like, it's just so much not an option, right? The legislation is coming whether you like it or not. Your only option is whether or not you get a seat at the table. And, our goal ultimately is to have this industry have a seat at the table. And just so you know, we're also working with CompTIA. CompTIA no longer has a legislative arm. And so I'm in negotiation with them about, what kinds of issues they think would be common between us. And we can help them promote those issues from the small business perspective. On our legislative page that I put up earlier in the About section, it lists some of the topics that we might need to look at, but clearly there are more. And if you have other suggestions of topics like right to repair, please let us know. I mean, ultimately, if you think about what we might lobby on potentially someday, it's anything that has to do with running a small IT business. So that includes taxes and regulation and privacy laws and insurance rates and cybersecurity and, in our case, right to repair. But if you have other suggestions, please let us know. Hi, Kevin. Bye, Kevin. I haven't seen Kevin in years. All right. Other comments or questions? Looks like folks have taken the opportunity at the top of the hour to find other things to do.
Just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been working on the committees and look forward to seeing what we do going forward.
Thanks, Wade.
I just
appreciate
joined
it.
as a professional member during this meeting.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. Very good. Well, thank you all. If there are no more questions, we'll go ahead and put this to rest. And, you know, with luck, we'll see you again very, very soon and see you on the committees. And with luck, you'll all run for office. Well, that'll be fun. So stay tuned for all of the election information. All right. Thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording now. If I can find the control.